You know, a lot of crazy shit happened when the Bleach manga ended on the 22nd of August 2016. This was 9 years ago, so it's understandable that people have forgotten the absolute insanity and the meltdowns that had occurred when Kubo ended the manga. In this video, I'll be talking about the insane levels of breakdown that some people had after Kubo ended Bleach. Just to clear things up, now a lot of this hate towards the ending of the Bleach manga had come from people who were upset that Ichigo ended up with Orihime instead of Rukia. Now that's one part of this meltdown. Another side of the hate had come from trolling One Piece and Naruto fans who took the opportunity to ridicule Bleach fans because of the ending of the manga. It's no secret the 1000-Year Blood War arc suffered from rushed pacing and an abrupt ending overall. The final battle against Yhwach lasted just a handful of chapters. This was a villain that was built up for over 100 chapters, and for him to have been defeated so ridiculously quickly, and the fact that we don't even know the fate of certain characters by the end of the manga, and we saw Ichigo's Bankai, but to this day we don't know what it does. So I do understand some of the criticisms towards the ending of Bleach. But over the years, people have come to understand that Kubo's health was failing when he was writing those final chapters of Bleach. He had no choice but to end the manga, and he did so to the best of his ability. And after all of these years, he returned in 2022 with the release of Bleach 1000-Year Blood War Core 1, as he's working as a general supervisor on the anime, and he's included all new, never before seen anime exclusive scenes which are expanding upon the story that he's established within the manga. We've had so many different anime exclusive fight sequences, we've had backstories, we've had Bankai that weren't in the manga that have been revealed in the anime, like Shinji's Bankai reveal and Senjumaru's Bankai reveal. And then we had all new incredible fights in Core 3, like Ichigo versus Uryu or Uryu versus Renji, and we got an entire Ukitake flashback sequence to show how he was connected to the right hand of the Soul King Mimihagi. Bleach right now is on top. It's had a massive renaissance. So now the fact that I'm bringing up some of this meltdown that had occurred towards the ending of the Bleach manga, it might seem really alien, especially with the positive reception to the Bleach anime and the manga in this day and age. 9 years ago, it was a totally different time. As you can see from this image here, people were so upset with the ending of the Bleach manga that they had gathered up all of their volumes and they had set them on fire and then posted the pictures on social media. These are actual images of morons who had spent their hard-earned money on manga volumes, so Kubo and everybody else who was supposed to have benefited from this purchase have made their money and ran away, and these idiots have just set their own personal belongings on fire. While some of this hatred is from Naruto and One Piece fans, a large majority of the meltdown had occurred from fans who were upset that Ichigo didn't end up with Rukia. A lot of this stupidity was coming from Tumblr too. Look at this post here where Isshin is speaking to that poster of Masaki with a caption reading, "Our son has married a hoe." This was from the 20th of August 2016, literally right as chapter 686 of Bleach had dropped. And here you have somebody who's really upset that Rukia ended up with Renji. She states, "Rukia, how did you let this boy get on your back and even worse, have his monkey child? I love you, but girl, you're such a disappointment. P.S. Renji still can't beat your brother, but whatever." This now brings us to an actual meltdown that an Ichiruki fan had posted online. This is going to be really cringy to watch through.
This is how I live. Now kiss. Make babies. Oh my God, I'm trying to make babies. Oh my God, you're my baby so precious to me. Oh God, please, no. Make babies. Somebody help. Oh God. I was asked to describe my feelings about how I feel when I see this shitty ass motherfucking parent right here. This parent right here is such shit because it glorifies low fucking self-esteem. It glorifies distrust and lies. It glorifies not believing in your friends and loved ones and believing any shit anybody tell you about them instead of taking their fucking side. It glorifies self-napping. And so a motherfucker could validate your worth because, oh my God, you don't love me. Oh, this is such a fuck. Yo, it glorifies loving a nigga not for one lifetime, but 5 motherfucking lifetimes of one side love. What kind of shit is that? 5 fucking fucking lifetimes of a nigga not loving you back. I fucking hate this parent. It's terrible and it's got as much as chance of being canon as this failed motherfucking hug. This fucking just trash. When I see this shit. Really told me to feel my reaction when I see this shitty fucking parent that glorifies loving one fucking sided love for 5, not 1, but 5 motherfucking lifetimes. A love that says doubt and trust your friend. Believe any shit anybody tell about you. Do self-destructive shit and self-nap just so a motherfucking nigga could validate your feeling, your worth, and you can see if he can save you. Wait. You said all of that. And you don't even have canon, manga, evidence? Oh my fucking god. Bitch, pick one. Pick one. Sit the fuck down. Sit down. Nothing to me, bitches.
You can literally see the anger on the face of this grown-ass woman. She's genuinely all caught up in her feelings of the fact that 2 fictional characters which do not exist, characters that are being made by some guy in Japan, they are not your characters, despite how hard you want them to be. If you want a specific pairing over the one that you've conjured up in your mind, and you've created all of these fantasy situations in your head, where Ichigo and Rukia get together, they get married, they have a kid, that's your own delusion. And the fact that you're then voicing out this anger in such a self-destructive way, with so much hatred and vitriol, it reveals so much about your character and your fragile mental state. The fact of the matter is, if you've read the Bleach manga, then you'll know that Ichigo has always had a soft spot for Orihime. Kubo makes this abundantly clear within his work. Ichigo has a deep connection with Orihime. Even in the one shot for Bleach, if you guys have read that, you'll know that Orihime was in love with Ichigo, and in that one shot, Orihime ended up dying. Ichigo was unable to fight during the Aranka arc because he was afraid of how he was going to be perceived by Orihime after he donned his hollow mask. He was aware that that hollow mask would remind Orihime of her older brother. The fact that she was shaken up affected Ichigo to the point where he couldn't fight properly. It was only after when Orihime yelled out to Ichigo not to die, and Ichigo saw the tears flowing from her eyes and her support and encouragement, that he was able to finally defeat Grimmjow. This is subtle storytelling, it's not overt, it requires you to connect the dots, read between the lines, but most of these Ichiruki fans do not have this ability of reading comprehension because frankly they weren't paying attention in school. They were too busy making up these stupid scenarios in their head where their fictional pairing was going to happen. I'm not exaggerating when I say that some of these fans went ahead and messaged Kubo personally, sent him death threats, told him to change his story, and Kubo, being the absolute goat that he is, he set them in their place. But we'll get to that in just a second. I mean, look at this, more proof that these idiotic people were burning their entire collections that they had spent their hard-earned money on. They don't realize that the money's been spent now. Kubo's benefited from it. Everybody who they are hating here has benefited. All you're doing here is burning and destroying your personal possessions. Here's more angry Bleach fans snapping discs and their merchandise. You can see images here of the Bleach movie snapped on the left. You've got their collection of the Bleach episodes on the right. Then there's this iconic image of this girl dressed up as Rukia, burning an image of Ichigo and Orihime. A huge part of this problem is that the anime directed by Noriyuki Abe had changed a lot of the establishing lore of the Bleach characters during the initial episodes. The anime was altered because in the chapter where Orihime is introduced, Ichigo tells Rukia that the first time that they saw each other is when Orihime, who was covered in blood, brings her brother to the Kurosaki clinic, and Ichigo is the one who had opened up the door. He also admits that he's been watching over her for quite a long time in that chapter of the manga, so this is the reason reason why Ichigo's had a soft spot for her, it's because he knows that she's living on her own after her brother died. The anime makes it look like they just recently met each other, but the manga clearly states that they have been rather close for a typical Japanese boy and a girl dynamic for quite a long time. There's also this cultural difference too. Western fans don't understand how these relationships evolve for boys and girls in Japanese society. There is an element of conservatism over there, not overstepping boundaries and being very respectful. In the We Do Not Always Love You light novels written by Ryogo Narita and Tite Kubo, we learn about how Ichigo asks out Orihime. Now, these details here completely refute the notion that the relationship between Orihime and Ichigo was purely one-sided. It's Ichigo who asks her out. It's an incredibly heartwarming moment, and it's amazing that Ichigo is the one to confess to her. Some people would have wanted Orihime too, but with how gender roles work in Japan, it's usually the guy who asks the girl out. People are really hoping for moments like this to be adapted into the Thousand Year Blood War arc anime. You can see here Ichigo calls out to Orihime. He says that there is something that he would like to talk to her about, saying, so next time you're free, do you think you could you make some time for me? Orihime is as surprised as Ichigo. He's fumbling over his words, saying sorry for dropping that on you. But yeah, it's Ichigo asking her to make some time for him. It's a subtle, sweet way which amazingly builds upon their relationship from the manga. Nothing is overt. Kubo has said it time and time again. He's not creating a romance series. The romance is an additional element to the characters that he has created, but it's not the central focus of the story of Bleach. So it's amazing that we do get slice of life moments like this here. But then you've got people like this who just don't understand this at all. Here's another image of a fan setting their volumes on fire. Another upset fan with ripped pages of Bleach. Again, this anger was from Japanese fans as well as Western fans. Look at these mentally insane people. I cried yesterday, so when I read that last effing chapter, I felt nothing. Ichiruki forever, Ichiruki fandom. I love all of you guys. Here's again more images of people destroying their personal possessions. These were some of the immediate reactions following the ending of the Bleach manga. This one person wrote, 15 years, thank you Kubo, you effing piece of shit. Someone else goes, go F yourselves, all of you, they're fake, possibly denying all of the final chapter leaks here. Again, look at this insanity. F Kubo, F Bleach, F Orihime, F Ichihime, F all of it. Effing waste of time. Nice job confirming the shit is ship, Kubo, bravo, fucking vo. Like, how did you not know that Ichihime was a ship before the release of chapter 686? Like, were you guys that dumb? Like, were you guys not even reading or paying attention to anything? Again, more images of people destroying their collections with reactions here. This person who's tore out pages of the manga, placed them on a bowl and has set them on fire like some sort of weird ritual. Again, more reactions to the spoilers for chapter 686 of Bleach. In light of these spoilers, I'd like to point out that I don't think that Ichigo has ever used Orihime's first name in any of the chapters, but he's been using Rukia since day one, so I mean, these are the types of brain-dead arguments that these people were making. Literally how Ichigo refers to the characters. These people don't even understand the fact that in Japanese culture, characters tend to call each other by their surnames as it's more respectful. Ichigo calling Orihime Inoue is out of respect. I mean, calling someone by their given name when you're not close to them is rather rude. Hence why Byakuya and Hitsugaya are annoyed with Ichigo when he doesn't call them by their family names. Ichigo calls almost everyone else by their personal name, but with characters like Chad, Orihime, and Uryu, they get the family name treatment. Here's some more comments. Ichihime makes me want to effing vomit. Ichigo had more chemistry with Grimmjow than Orihime by. I've made so many videos on my channel where I break down the character of Orihime and Ichigo. I mean, check out my character analysis for Orihime. In that video, you'll truly understand what Kubo was going for with her character. I mean, these people who are criticizing Ichihime don't even understand the sword and the shield dynamic that Kubo has woven in as a theme with the characters of Ichigo and Orihime. It's like these people watched the anime, then got so fixated on Ichigo and Rukia, and with the scenes in the anime that weren't even in the manga, which were pushing this narrative of Ichigo and Rukia's relationship, and they totally ignored all of the story that Kubo was telling within the manga. It's no secret, Kubo said himself during those early episodes of the Bleach anime, Kubo's stomach was churning with how much his characters were being changed in the anime adaptation. It wasn't until later on that Kubo got directly involved with the anime, and he was looking through all of the scripts for all of the anime episodes just to make sure that the characters in the anime were consistent with the characters that he is writing within the manga. Kubo was aware that most people will be introduced to Bleach via the anime, and his name was one of the first that you'd see in the credits when the anime begins. So for this reason, he didn't want fans getting the wrong idea when they watched the Bleach anime, but it seems like the damage was already done. This Ichigo Rukia narrative was already shoehorned in to such an extent, and it shows that these people have no idea how to process Kubo's actual pairings from the manga and the actual characters that he has written in comparison to these fake characters that they've made up in their head from a poor anime adaptation of the manga. I mean, look at this other bad take. I'm convinced that Kubo did this to get back at the publishers, because I cannot accept that all of those chapters, all of these looks, all of the quotes led to that ending. Ichigo and Rukia were deep and heartfelt and beautiful, and I refuse to accept that Kubo did this because he actually thought it was a good way to end this manga. I love these two and I will go down with this ship. I have to say this, Ichigo and Rukia are friends. The bestest of friends. They are not anything more than that. I mean, to even come out with this, you're ignoring the story of Renji and his relationship with Rukia and his desire to earn her respect once again. You have to check out my Renji character analysis, the story of the stray dog who tried to reach to the moon, but all that he was reaching for was the moon's reflection in the water. There's so much depth, symbolism, and themes written within Renji and Rukia that it would be stupid to ignore the relationship that Kubo was developing over the course of the series with those two characters alone, let alone Ichigo and Orihime. Here are the death threats to Kubo. His person goes, I want Kubo's house nuked now. Someone else in 2016 goes, I don't want the anime to come back, I want the anime to be its own separate canon where Ichiruki exists peacefully. How stupid is that? Ichiruki, the dynamic between them even in platonic level were the best, and then they're going after Kazui. What an ugly kid. Orihime must have drunk during her pregnancy. Here's more, wait, is this real? Did Rukia really lose to effing Orihime? I can't believe I wasted 10 years of my life on this, please let me die. Honestly, you wasted your own life on this. You came up with these stupid scenarios in your head and you only disappointed yourself. It's the fact that you have poor reading comprehension which has led you to this point in time where you've made this dumb comment. Pierrot needs to F off, they already did. The anime is not being made and probably will never be brought back because of the Ichihime cancer. Kubo is a effing traitor. If he wasn't going to have Ichiruki be an actual thing, then why let SP do all of that? Studio Pierrot did all of those things without Kubo's approval. When Kubo got onto matters, then things were corrected, but it was already too late because you moronic people couldn't understand what Noriyuki Abe and Pierrot were doing with the anime and how it was against what Kubo had established within the manga. Kubo is not a traitor, Kubo did nothing wrong here, and the fact that the Bleach anime is back and we're in a renaissance has proven you wrong completely, and you're actually a cancer for spreading this type of hate online. Just because Renji and Rukia have a child, it doesn't mean that they are married F-tards, like what on earth? Here's someone else burning artwork drawn by Kubo, the end of the anime, the end of the manga. Thank God the manga is absolute trash, so I don't even care about how it ends, the anime was always better. This sums it up completely. These people are fans of the Bleach anime which had wrongly portrayed Kubo's characters. Anyone with common sense, reading comprehension, and ability to read between the lines knows that the manga has always established Orihime and Ichigo as a pairing, and Renji and Rukia as a pairing, but it wasn't overt, it was all subtle storytelling. So look at some of these comments following the ending of the Bleach manga. This one comment goes, it begins, the Japanese are mocking Western fans for being so immature, burning their manga volumes and bothering Kubo. Yeah, Ichiruki extremists were going absolutely wild during this time. Look at some of these comments, Kubo really killed his own career. I mean, the Ichiruki fans were so convinced that they'd come up with this theory that nobody was going to buy the final volumes of Bleach if Kubo did an Ichiruki pairing. I mean, look at this comment. Most of Japan is Ichiruki. Kubo will never be able to find a job again. Hashtag betrayed. Look at some of this denial from Ichiruki fans. They're saying they cannot wait to see the butthurt Ichihime fans posting on Tumblr when Ichiruki becomes canon. They will not only attack Ichiruki fans, but also Kubo for not making their delusional pairing canon. They will bring out the interview that is 10 years old and cry Narusaku tears. They will twist translations of the final hour of Bleach. This person is delusional, and they're the one who is projecting based upon a delusional pairing that they have made up. Look at these mental gymnastics here where people are looking into the meanings of Kazui and Ichigo's names, deconstructing them, trying to make it out to be Ichigo and Rukia. How both Ichigo and Kazui are Rukia and Ichigo's kids. Like, what is wrong with these people? Look at the bottom, only one word for this. Interesting. Now there's one word for this. To tell you what it is, it's insane. This image perfectly sums it up. Look, Renji, this fanbase is upset because my grown ass didn't fall for someone that I knew since he was 15. This is the fact. Rukia is 150 years old. Ichigo is 15 when they meet in chapter 1. They're from two different worlds. There is no way that that pairing was ever going to happen. I mean, look at this. You're telling me these people are supposed to be my fans, yet they think I'm a pervert who grooms teenagers? And Rukia is more than right to hold up that sign there. The hatred towards Orihime was so intense, and for the way that Kubo was writing his manga, that even in 2010 when Kubo still had his Twitter account, the hatred got so much that Kubo had to officially make a response. So here's the backstory. So in 2010 on his Twitter account, people were sending Kubo tweets talking shit about Orihime, saying he should just kill her off already, and that he told them to eat dirt and that there were zero chances that his writing style would change because of their comments. It was also in 2010 that this exchange had happened. So somebody mentioned to Kubo, is too much of a comic relief character, or rather she's a nuisance way too often. Kubo responded, and you still haven't noticed that I'm a twisted person, so when I get replies like this, I just increase Orihime's screen time. So this was in 2010. Shortly thereafter, it was followed up by the Fullbring arc where Orihime's screen time was increased by Kubo, and it was thanks to comments like this. So moronic Orihime haters messaging Kubo only for then to get themselves shot in the foot. If you think I'm exaggerating, these were the kinds of comments that Kubo was getting on his Twitter page. When you say Ichigo is half Shinigami, you mean he can have a child with Rukia, right? Please let Ichigo and Rukia get married in the last chapter. Please get rid of anyone who gets in the way of that. I don't know what the jealous backstabbing Orihime might do to Rukia. I mean, look at this other comment. Hey Kubo, I'm so glad you read these. You may be a flawed person, but I have no malice towards you. I'm just giving you advice for the future of Bleach. I feel sorry for you, but if people don't like a character, they have a reason for it. There is a reason why people don't like a character, please understand. And then there's this other comment, kill Orihime, kill her, kill, repeatedly. And another hateful comment, the Arrancar arc is a pathetic work that the fans of the original consider as a dark memory. I'm so proud of Orihime for being such a hated heroine. Orihime is the reason behind the lowest ratings of Bleach. Please look at the reality. I mean, this is Kubo finally responding. Is it really possible to listen to a little kid like you? In reality, you are a nobody. This now brings us to a comment that Kubo made where he addresses those who criticize successful mangaka. This comment recently went viral, and it's part of the reason as to why I've made this video today. So Kubo says, I'll say this because there are some people who seem to misunderstand. What readers have is not the right to change the story of a work. What they have is the right to choose whether to read it or not. If you don't like it, then just stop reading it. If you have the talent to create something more interesting than Bleach, then you should immediately become a mangaka. If it's really more interesting, you'll definitely succeed more than Bleach, which personally I think is very unlikely. Bleach is like the 9th best-selling manga of all time. To get to that level, it's literally, you have more odds of winning the lottery. So Kubo continues saying, if you say you can't draw, then work hard, become an editor, and give advice to mangaka. If you truly have talent, you'll be welcomed anywhere. But if you have no talent, no effort, and yet you complain about those who are doing their best, if you're the kind of person who just gets in the way of people who are working hard, then just go hide somewhere, keep your eyes shut, open your mouth, and live off of the rain and dirt. This comment was literally addressed to people who were sending Kubo death threats, forcing him to try and kill Orihime, to try and change his story. So for anyone who doesn't understand the motivation and the reasoning behind it, hopefully this video has helped you to better appreciate the insane situation that Kubo was in during those final years of Bleach's serialization, where he was constantly being harassed on social media, where these idiotic, moronic Ichiruki fans were sending him death threats, telling him to kill Orihime, for calling him a pathetic person, wanting to even nuke his home just because two fictional characters didn't end up together at the end of the story, which is is just absolutely stupid. These people really do belong in a mental asylum. Yeah, we've reached the point of the video where I want to hand over the discussion to all of you. Let me know all of your thoughts about this insane Bleach meltdown that had occurred in August of 2016. Right now, it's so easy to forget how much hate that Bleach had from all sides. The hate that we've discussed in this video was from people who claim to be Bleach fans. This isn't even talking about all of the hate from the Western anime fandom who had made up these insane misconceptions and lies about Bleach as a story and about Kubo as a bad writer or a lazy artist. I've discussed all of that in earlier videos on the channel, so do go and check them out. I've debunked a lot of Bleach hate, but it's been a long time coming. I've avoided talking about this specific topic because it just annoys me so much personally. But if there's anything that I've forgotten to mention about the ending of the Bleach manga and the negative reception that was received, then let me know by continuing the discussion in the comments. If you want a separate video diving more into the delusion of these Ichigo fans, then let me know also. And lastly, thanks for making it to the end of this one, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video.
A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.